How does the play commence in medias res? Or in media res, it's sometimes pronounced. Yeah, very good. It literally means in the midst of action. So the play starts in the middle of action. Okay, if you don't know what that is, use that term. The play commences in medias res. Why has it occurred? What's already happened before Act 1 starts? Like that we learn about it obviously, but it has already happened. We don't watch it unfold. Because we're already in Reverend Paris's home. Do you remember the setting? We're already in Reverend Paris's home. They were playing around with witchcraft. Obviously it wasn't real, but they were playing around. That's happened. And one other thing has happened that's really important. Abigail and Proctor's affair has already occurred. So we're thrown into the middle of action, okay? So in medias res is an important aspect of the form, you could say, because that's the structure of the play as a whole, you see? So in medias res, you can all use that early on in the essay. Now, what's the impact on the reader very quickly? Or I shouldn't say the reader, the audience. You always refer to the audience for a play because the audience is who is watching the play. It establishes an inconsistent preconception of Proctor's integrity, right? Or it establishes a preconception of Proctor as immoral, even though we learn he's actually a man of character. What else though? A more general point is by studying the middle of action, think about what Miller's trying to achieve with the play as a whole. He's trying to shock us. So he unsettles the audience. We feel unsettled because we join in the action when we don't have any context for the reader. It invites the audience to share in the uncertainty of the characters. What about that? It invites the audience to share in the uncertainty of the characters because they're all in a state of hysteria. Now we feel kind of confused. So you can use the word confuses or unsettles the audience and therefore invites us to share in the hysteria because we don't know what's just happened. We're playing catch up. Okay, number 2. So again, you don't have to write it as questions. How would you describe the people of Salem as a collective? Well, what are 2 key adjectives we can use when we refer to them generally? So why don't we say that they're unconscious? Unconscious doesn't always mean, passed out or asleep. You can be unconscious in that you're unaware of what's happening. So they are an unconscious collective. Now, what makes them unconscious? Why are they unaware of what's going on? Because what have they been manipulated by? Fear, right? When you feel afraid, think about this on a personal level as well, like in your own lives. If you feel afraid or you have like kind of a heightened emotional response to something, haven't you felt like you act a bit irrationally? Sometimes you end up apologizing. Oh, sorry, I lost control. I lost my temper. I was acting crazy. Has anyone relate to that? If you lose control emotionally, even for a second, and you're like, oh, I wasn't like thinking straight. What does that mean? I wasn't thinking straight. You weren't fully conscious. And when you're not fully conscious, you're vulnerable to exploitation. You need to understand that key point, right? Because you'll do things that you're not really aware of at the time. You're not like present to it. So it's an unconscious collective. It's a scared, a frightened collective, and therefore it is an exploitable collective. There are a few different words for you. Because when you refer to the collective of Salem, you want to put an adjective at the front, so there's some good ones for you.